Let's open up an image in Photoshop. Let's go to File and Open. I'm going to be using a picture of a toucan. This has just been taken from iStock, so you can use any picture that you want. It can be a photograph that you've taken or an image you've taken off the internet, and then we click Open. Here's a picture in the workspace. Now that's one way of opening up the picture. I'm just going to show you one more way. If we go to our Finder, or if you're using a Windows PC, it'll be My Computer, we can locate the image as we did previously. As long as both windows are open side by side, we can click, hold, and we can drag across and drop, and it will open up the picture like that. I'm actually going to show you one more way. There's always 3-4 different ways to do things in Photoshop. So I'm going to go back into the Finder. This time I'm going to right click on the image and I'm going to go Open With, and I'm going to go down to CS5. Click that, and there we go, we've got the image in there again. So now we've got a picture in our Photoshop workspace. We've also got a little bit of information that's arrived with the picture. We've got the name of the file. We can see it's a .jpg file. That means it's a JPEG file. It's something that we will look at in more detail later on, but all you need to know is that most pictures that you find on the internet and the pictures that your camera will be taking, unless you're shooting in RAW, will be in .jpeg format. We're currently viewing the image at 66.7%, and it's an RGB 8-bit file. Now down here we've also got the physical size of the image, which is 5.43 megabytes. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we're viewing this picture at 66.7%. Now if we go over to the Navigator window, the palette here, we can increase the zoom, or the level at which we are viewing this, and it increases via percentages. So we've got 100% now here, so we're viewing this image full size. We can also click and hold and drag this window around, and that will allow us to move around the image. Now there are several other ways of navigating or zooming in to your image. I'm going to show you this way, which is very straightforward. Simply clicking the zoom tool from the toolbar, or we can press Z on our keyboard. That's the shortcut. We can click and we'll just zoom directly into the image. And if we want to zoom out of the image, we can come to our options bar. So remember, all the options linked to the tools are found directly above in the options bar. We can click on the zoom out or the negative icon, and we can click out that way. Now if you're using CS5, you also have the option of clicking and holding and dragging to the right, or clicking and holding and dragging to the left to allow you to zoom in and out. This is called the Scrubby Zoom. Okay, I really like this option in Photoshop. It allows you to move in and out really quickly, and I quite like this this smooth zoom in action. Works really well. Okay, so that's the zoom. So let's say we've zoomed in close here to the eye. Now if we want to move around the image at this magnification, we can do that using the Navigator panel here. However, a quicker way of actually doing that is by pressing your spacebar and holding on to that, and you'll see that the icons are now changed into like a little hand. Now this means that if we click and hold on the image, we can actually drag and move around the image really quickly, like this. And as long as we've got the spacebar held down, we can move around the image, no problem. Okay, so we're going to zoom out now by just clicking and dragging across. Let's zoom back in a little bit here. Let's just adjust this. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to show you one more way of zooming in and out, and this is another really quick way of doing it. Now I was using this option before I was using Photoshop CS5, before the Scrubby Zoom, and that's by simply using the keyboard shortcuts. So to zoom in, it's Command or Control if you're using a PC, and the plus button, that will allow you to zoom in, and Command and the minus button, or Control and the minus button again if you're using a Windows Photoshop, and that allows you just to zoom in and out really quickly within the image. Remember, holding the space bar allows us to navigate around the picture, and zooming in and out using the shortcut on the keyboard or the Scrubby Zoom, or even using the Navigator panel. So that's how we open up a file, and an introduction into navigating and moving around the file. In the next episode we're going to have a look at some basic adjustments and how we go about using layers in Photoshop.